We have this from ABC News. This is from the other day. Trump says can't have a trial for all migrants he wants to deport.
Yeah.
Such a thing is not possible to do, he posted on social media. They say amid a tense legal battle over deportations, Trump is now arguing undocumented migrants should not be given a trial where they could challenge being removed from the country. You know, they don't actually get that. Let me pull up the deportation.
It's okay that it's not possible because the American people don't want them to have a trial anyways. They just want them out. So
this is what the process is, okay? What happens when someone is detained by immigration? They say after a non-citizen is detained, they may go before a judge in immigration court during the deportation. Oh, wait, but there is a judge. Hold on. In some cases, a non-citizen is subject to expedited removal without being able to attend a hearing in immigration court. Expedited removal may happen when a citizen comes to the U.S. without proper travel documents, uses forged travel documents, does not comply with their visas. What does this mean? Everybody we saw under the Biden administration who entered with fake documents or with none were subject to expedited removal. But that was unprecedented that Biden was doing this. Immigration court hearings and rulings are for people who overstay their visa or violate the terms of their immigration. And then they get an order for removal and then they challenge it. But when you enter the country illegally, it was just expedited removal. They called Obama the deporter in chief because he was just loading them up and flying them out.
And lock them in cages too.
He built them all.
Yeah, and they blame Trump on that too. That was pretty incredible stuff.
So it's all lies. And even last night, Ian fell for it. I'm sure the audience is saying, we're not surprised Ian fell for the lies. Mary's giving me a look right now where she almost can't believe it. But I don't mean this disrespectfully. Ian brought up, Trump said we can't have trials for illegal immigrants now. And I had to correct him. That narrative pushed by the press is fabricated. What Trump is actually saying is, let me give you the full context of what Trump is saying. Illegal immigrants, the people who come here and cross the border illegally, are subject to expedited removal and do not get hearings. We can't start to have trials for all these people now. There's too many. It makes no sense. You remove the other context, trick people into thinking they always did receive a trial and that Trump is trying to strip their rights from them.
Yeah.
Factual, but not truthful.
And the goal is to deceive the American people, which is not something new. It's something that the Democrats have been engaging in, regularly for the better part of the past 10 years, whether it be, the policies during COVID, the very fine people hoax, the Maryland man, whatever it is. There's been multiple attempts by the Democrats to totally deceive the American people. And I think generally, pardon me?
It works like 99% of the time.
It has worked well, yeah, because most people aren't very politically engaged. But if you're even marginally politically engaged, I think that unless your personality is kind of geared towards being a Democrat, if you're actually willing to change your opinion based on what you see, I think that most people that do any kind of exploration of the truth, they see that the Democrats are full of crap.
Very teeny tiny fraction of the population.
It is a very teeny tiny fraction of the population of people that actually are into politics.
People just believe whatever is most emotionally resonant
100%.
to them.
100%.
But reeling it back, I might sound crazy for saying this, but I feel like not only would there be a popular demand for an immigration moratorium, but also just a moratorium on asylum claims. I know they're given court dates for asylum claims, but how about a moratorium on that?
I think that would actually be something the American people.
So many of them are BS anyway.
Well, hold on, Mary. I think
they're all fabricating them.
I didn't realize you were a liberal going so soft on these people. I say when they come in and claim asylum, we arrest them and criminally charge them and then send them to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
I'm not serious, by the way. I'm just trying to sound like I'm more aggressive than Mary's being.
Am I being aggressive?
No, I was kidding.
Okay.
I think a moratorium, I completely agree with the moratorium. I think we need to shut down all asylum claims until we can figure what the hell's going on.
But look, I think the American people agree with this. That's why the Democrats are at a historic disapproval rating right now. They're trying to normalize these type of issues as if they're popular and for that the American people are supporting them. They don't. That's why they lost this past election. That's why they're likely going to lose this midterm if things continue this way. And this just, this is a complete nonsense.
Democrats' strongest man is David Hogg.
And he exemplifies the civil war that's going on in the Democrat Party right now. If you look
They're
at
threatening to kick him out.
they're probably going to.
Kick him
If you
out.
look
They
at
said they're going to kick him out.
Excommunicate
Yep.
him as a Democrat?
excommunicado,
He's vice chair, so they're saying we're going to remove you.
Yeah.
because he is actually
Such a plan. He's an actual crisis actor.
Yeah. He's trying to primary Democrats, and the DNC official is not in the business of primarying Democrats. They're not in the business of picking and choosing which Democrat. They're in the business of making sure Democrats win. Now, primarying existing seats that are safe seats is a bad move for Democrats to do. David Hogg's doing that.
I disagree.
And Carville was all over him.
No, it's a good thing for them to do. David Hogg is correct, except he's wrong about literally everything else. Charlie Kirk is talking about primarying safe red seats to get rid of the rhinos in the party who are against the popular mandate. David Hogg has a similar idea. The only problem is his ideas aren't popular at all. He's on the back end of a 80-20 issue, arguing for getting rid of safe blue Democrats who are on the moderate
correct
side.
Yeah.
So this is the fascinating thing. David, imagine if there was a prominent rhino who hated Trump and he was arguing we're going to primary safe Republicans. That's basically what David Hogg is doing. He's in favor of all of the worst issues. The ones, I got to be honest, I think David Hogg might be a Republican. I think one day he was at church. He was at church and he was wearing his Trump hat and his Trump shirt and watching a video of Trump on his phone. And then he said, someone needs to destroy the Democrats from within. And then, one of his buddies looked at him and said, but David, they'll hate you. And he says, they will, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And so then he joined the Democratic Party and he's just ripping them to shreds from within and making them look like morons.
Good for him.
Good for him.
I feel like it's more likely he was just like groomed from birth by like the FBI or the CIA.
Well, his dad, I think, was FBI, right?
Yeah.
Was really?
Yeah, I'm
That's
pretty
true.
sure.
I remembered the name of the girl from Parkland, Emma Gonzalez, who started going by X Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And they both just started careers in activism, and it went beyond gun control activism.
Yeah. His dad's a retired FBI agent.
That's crazy work. Like, it's so in your face.
Well, I mean,
That's my personal opinion, okay? My personal
no,
opinion.
I get it, but I'm just saying you don't need a grand
Something is not what it seems about
you don't need a grand conspiracy. His dad was an FBI agent, Democrat, and he takes after his dad. And it's not like I don't view it as the FBI had a meeting 20 years ago and they said, you must have a child of prophecy to lead the deep state. They probably had a kid, and then he was like, here's what I think you should do. And his kid takes after him. Yeah.
Much to think about.
Indeed.
You should ask Alex Jones what he thinks about this.
I do think this is we'll throw this one in just a little bit. Post-Millennial says that Venezuela is likely weaponizing Tren de Aragua against us. So when Trump is talking about needing to get these people out as quickly as possible, he is not wrong. And the sentiment that's going around quite a bit is actually the math is simple. If you allow 20 million people in unvetted, but then you can't remove them without vetting, you've lost. It's over.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Because that means it's a one-way valve, and they're not going to stop coming in.
And I think people have misunderestimated that terrorist organizations are not simply in the Middle East and far off places in Southeast Asia, but they're actually in Latin America. And this is a terrorist organization that these people are members of that have infiltrated the United States.
Yeah, and I think it's important to stress this.
Yeah.
Trump is not arbitrarily declaring these narco gangs and prison gangs terrorists for no reason. He's not calling them terrorists just so he can try and deport them. These organizations, these gangs are known for killing politicians. The definition of terrorist is when you use violence for political ends. Right. When you get these Mexican mayors and governors and people are like, Tim, those are cartels. Yo, read up on what MS-13 does down there. If you come out and you say, we're going to clean up the streets and get rid of crime and stop what they're doing, the next day you're dead. So if these people want to operate here and they want to act in these ways, then they're terrorists. So
I wonder what kind of reaction the American people would have if there was actually even just one politician blatantly murdered by a gang, right? Because in Mexico they don't hide it. They'll cut a politician's head off and leave it on their car. What would the American people do if that happened in the United States? to
At this rate, it's more a question of like, what will they do? Because it's like a matter of time as our population is
I don't
shifting.
I don't know if it's actually a matter of time or not, but I do think if you saw something like that where it was clearly a gang, a foreign gang that had come to America and behaved like that, I do think the American people would react in a similar fashion to the way that they did after 9/11 and be like, all right, this is not happening here.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.